Hello and thank you for watching my video. This is going to be a guide looking at how to craft an ascended weapon. Now, a few people had mentioned to me, about the whole procedure and how the process of crafting a ascended weapon and how to go about it, and also, what is the point in crafting ascended weapons because they take so long and are very expensive. Well, let's look about the ascended weapon. The Ascended Weapon is the top statted weapon in the game. You can't beat the stats of an Ascended Weapon. They are the same stats as a Legendary. The only difference is the Legendary can actually change its stats. So the Ascended Weapon is very, very good if you want that little bit of extra stat ability. It's marginal over the exotic, but again, it is a difference and it is a higher weapon to take with you. Also, there are many different variations of Ascended Weapon dependent on the actual sort of abilities, the stats you're taking. So for example, the Berserker Greatsword will look different to a Conditioned Greatsword, and so there are a number of different looks that an Ascended Weapon can go for, and I'm showing you in the background here. This is a picture of all the Ascended Weapons, all the colours that you can go through, and obviously, dependent on the look you want with your character and obviously the type you want with your character, you've got to sort of weigh up whether you want the look or whether or not you want the actual stats. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go through a little bit of a guide and explain how to craft an ascended weapon. Okay, so let's go through. You can see here I'm on my engineer, and this is the crafting for weapons and the weaponsmithing. And you can see here I've actually got it on the Grandmaster tray. I've unlocked up to 500, which is actually what you need. You do need, if you're going to, for example, unlock, there are three main weapon types. You have the Artificer, which unlocks sort of staff weapons. You have the Huntsman, which unlocks the bows. And then you have the Weaponsmith, which unlocks a lot of the sort of metallic and melee weapons. And so what we're going to do, we are going to craft a dagger. We're not going to craft this Occam's Razor, which I actually bought. I bought a load of recipes because I really wasn't focusing on what I actually wanted, and also the Occam's Razor is a very Berserker type weapon, but I don't want the actual color of that. I am actually crafting a weapon to go with my Elementalist, and it's going to be a white dagger. And as you saw earlier, dependent on what stats you go for, dependent on the colour. So here you can see Zojor's Claymore. This I have for my warrior that I've transmutated into something else. But that is a Zojor weapon, which tends to be the red weapon. If we look at Ton's Warhammer, this is what I have on my Guardian. It's a blue Warhammer because it's more about if you look at here, has power, toughness and vitality. And obviously it depends on the inscription, depends on the colour that you actually get. So how do we go about crafting a weapon? Well, first things first, obviously you have to be level 500 in the crafting discipline that you're in. And then you have to go up to the Weaponsmith. And the Weaponsmith here, he will be selling recipes. For those of you who've never done this before, this is obviously what you get a lot of these recipes for, and what you'll get these here for. The recipes here, you want this Ascended Inscription, and when you double click on that, that will give you the opportunity to, if we come out of it. So when you buy this recipe, it's 21,000 karma. So you need a little bit of karma for that. And then you come out and it will give you the opportunity to unlock one of these inscriptions. It will tell you what you actually want as well. So for example, the Berserker Inscription tends to be Zojor's because it's power, ferocity and precision. Or you've got Theodosius, which is healing power, puff power and toughness. Occam's is the condition damage, power, vitality. So I have that on my engineer. I have a little pistol. And then you've got other ones as well. I haven't unlocked all of them because they do cost a lot of karma to unlock them all. So these are the inscriptions. So you will need that to complete your weapon. But let's look for the recipe. And we want to unlock a dagger. Okay. So it costs you 5 laurels and 3 gold. So here we go. For those of you wondering why I'm so cheaply poor at the moment, it's because I have been spending a lot on doing other things, buying materials and also buying gems to allow me to buy different aspects from the gem store. So here we go. We bought the Ascended Dagger recipe, and what we're going to do, we are going to be crafting, if we go back in here just to make sure it's the right one, you can see here I've actually crafted a lot of this already. We're going for the Clerics Orichalcum, and that'll be Theodosius. So we want the Theodosius Weapon. So we double click here, it gives you a choice of all these different ascended daggers. So you need to make sure that you're going for the right one. So we want Theodosius's dagger. Okay, if you pick the wrong one, then the problem is, so for example, I already have Occam's Razor unlocked. I need to again go for sort of I need to get the inscription that goes with Occam's Razor. So I thought I bought that one because I thought it'd be funny, the fact you have Occam's Razor. So here we go. So we're going to get Theodosius' Razor. So here we go. We're going to unlock that, and you'll notice obviously it's come up here under the dagger section. So here we have the Theodosius Razor, and if we look at that, it's a nice white dagger. And if we compare that to the Occam's Razor, so you can see there it's a white dagger. If we compare that to Occam's, it's a sort of reddy orange glow. So that's why I'm doing this purely for aesthetics. The power, toughness, healing power, I can actually use on my elementalist. I needed some sort of improved daggers. And so what we need a dagger blade, a dagger hilt, a vision crystal, and an inscription. So they're the 4 sections we actually need to complete this Theodosius Razor. The vision crystal, this is acquired using several ascending materials. Dragonite ingots are used by using dragonite ore, obsidian shards, and the thermocatalytic reagents. They're actually bought from the vendor right hereby. Obsidian shards, you should really know where to be getting those. You know, they can drop from chests around like in the silver wastes, or you can buy them from certain merchants. And the same goes for Imperial Stars. It's a difference. That's all that is. And Bloodstone bricks, again, the same case. You just need Bloodstone dust. These items, you know, Imperial fragments you can get through dungeons, or you can get in World versus World by completing events. Dragonite ingots tends to be defeating world bosses, so that's worth doing them. And Bloodstone dust can be acquired from multiple sources, be it chests or, you know, in the silver wastes. Any sort of high-end area events and drops from bosses tend to give part of Bloodstone dust. For those of you looking at the, you know, I have lots and lots of stuff in this, and you can see the Dragonite ores all here. I have plenty of that. I've just not converted it. So that's how we get a crystal. If we go to the Vision Crystal. So yeah, so we've got our Dragonite ingot, our Imperial Star, our Bloodstone bricks. The August Stone, that's actually bought from Miani or from the vendor by the Mystic Forge, and that's for 20 skill points. So you just spend 20 skill points so you cost 20 skill points and you buy an August Stone. Okay, I've got 4 Vision Crystals, so I don't really need to do that at the current time. So that's pretty fine. So we've got the Vision Crystal. Let's look at the Deldrimor Steel Blade and Steel Hilt. Well, we need a lot of thermocatalytic reagents. It does cost a lot. It's 15 silver pretty much for 10. So this is why it gets expensive, because you're talking over a gold for just one steel dagger hilt. You've got piles of crystalline dust and Deldrimor Steel ingots. Well, let's have a look at the Deldrimor Steel ingots. That's actually acquired by using a variety of metals, so dark steel ingots, iron ingots, and a lump of mithrilium. Oh, okay. So, well, I've got 2. I need another lump of mithrilium. So what is that? A lump of mithrilium is a time-gated item, and what I mean by that is you can only craft 1 a day, and it requires these materials. So here we go, we've got 50 mithril ingots, we need a glob of ectoplasm and 10 thermocatalytic reagents. So here we go, we're going to craft one of those, and as you can see it takes a while, and you'll notice here it has a timer, and that is obviously to do with the server time, and when it actually will allow me to craft another. So you can see it can take a while, and unless you're doing it over a significant period of time, it can take you a while to do that. So now I have my lump of mithrilium, I can use it with these other items and craft a Deldrimor Steel ingot. Ascended. Now these you can sell on the trading post, so you can buy them, and because of the time gatedness and the fact that it costs a lot of materials, they do tend to be highly valued. Not as highly valued as, for example, the Bolt of Damask, but still, they're expensive. So let's go to the Delgrimore Steel Blade, and that is identical. So the blade and the hilt are identical. If you do want to craft, for example, a great sword, again, you're looking at Delgrimore Steel Ingots. The Warhammer, you might actually have this. You had Spirit Wood planks instead of, obviously for the handle. So that's, we'll talk about that now, actually, because if we go back to the Razor, what have we got here? Well, we actually have we've got 3 components out of the 4. So we need that final Clerics Inscription. So how do we get this Clerics Inscription? Well, let's have a look. So we need 10 globs of dark matter. And the globs of dark matter are acquired from salvaging exotic items. Okay, so exotic items, generally it would be things like these. You could use a Black Lion salvage kit, or a sort of Mystic Forge kit to salvage these exotic items, and you have a chance at getting the globs of dark matter. As you can see here, I've done a lot of salvaging for exotics, and I've actually got so much globs of dark matter. If we come back onto Theodosius, we need 10 piles of crystalline dust. Okay, how do we get that? Well, you can use the trading post to buy them, or you can use ectos and salvage the ectos. We come here, salvage one, and we get 1 pile of crystalline dust. That admittedly was obviously not worthwhile, because obviously I only got 1 out of that, and each ecto goes for around 30, and the pile of crystalline dust is around for half of that. But I am going for a bit of luck. My luck, I'm trying to increase a little bit here. It's up to 172%, so I'm hoping to get that over 200 soon. So back to the inscription. We have the dust. We have the Clerics Orichalcum imbued inscription. That is an exotic inscription that you actually have to, I believe you have to purchase or not. I double checked that. I think you have to purchase from, let's just check. Because it's been a while. I've obviously got all of these. Here we go. Yes, you actually have to purchase this from the vendor as well. So you can see here, I've actually got all of these recipes. They're not too expensive again. So because I already have the Clerics Inscription for 900 or 896 karma, that allows me to craft the Orichalcum Inscription, which again, the most expensive part is these 5 Orichalcum plated dowels, which actually cost a significant amount of wood and Orichalcum ingots. And then obviously you've got a T6 material that you need as well. So things like the Occam's one will have Ancient Bones. The Berserker Inscription will Vial of Powerful Blood. So these can be expensive indeed. Okay, so we have our Dark Matter, we have our Orichalcum imbued inscription, and we have our piles of crystalline dust. So that just leaves us with the Delgrimore steel plated dowel. Let's have a look. We can buy this on the trading post, but man, is it expensive! 24 gold. That is a ridiculous amount of money, and the reason why is because it's very, very expensive to craft. We need 3 Delgrimore steel ingots. Remember, if you're not buying them from the trading post, they are going to be time gated. So just for this one weapon, you need 9 Delgrimore steel ingots. That's 9 days of crafting. You've got 3 spirit wood planks. So I didn't go into it. The spirit wood planks got softwood planks, seasoned wood planks, and hardwood planks, and a glob of elder spirit residue. And very similar to the lump of mithrilium, it uses a T5 material, which would be the elderwood planks, which there are plenty of in the game. And so rarely do I need, I have to buy these. It's very, very easy to get a glob of elder spirit residue. And so we craft these. Again, I've actually got lots of these, and so I don't really need to. For those of you, if you're ever wanting to know what you can get out of your dailies, for your chest of loyalty, the ascending crafting materials could be a choice of spirit wood planks, steel ingots, bolts of damask, or the leather square. And again, generally, or you could get any of these ones from that. It is a bit random, and I don't think it's very effective monetarily. I think it's easier to buy to get laurels. But if you're interested in getting some of these, using a different method, then going for the final chest of loyalty and going for ascended crafting materials will give you some of these if you're lucky. So here we go, we've got the Deldrimos steel plated dowel. We're going to craft that. And remember, ascended weapons are all account bound, so you can use them on multiple professions. So you don't have to worry about that. The same with ascended armor. You can craft ascended armor for, for example, heavy armor and swap that from your warrior to your guardian if you need to. But here we go. So we're going to craft the Clerics Inscription of Theodosius. And now we can craft the Theodosius Razor, and this will be another ascended weapon. I don't have many ascended weapons. I think I've got about 5. But generally, I've got a shield, I've got a staff, I've got I've got a couple of staffs, or staves. But here we go. It's a long time crafting it. Boom, there we go. We've unlocked the skin. We've got the Theodosius Razor. So we get an upgrade slot we can use. We've got an infusion that we can use, an offensive infusion. It's worth a gold, and it's in the ancient Luxon weaponsmith Theodosius. So that was I believe, a character from Guild Wars 1. So we'll put the crystals back over here, vision crystals. So here we go. Let's we've got this. I'll equip it with a upgrade a bit later, but this is going to be on my elementalist. So here we go. We can put that over here. The reason why I went for this is because I use a very similar build for my dagger builds in general. I don't go for a bit of a Berserker build, and I actually prefer this skin color. And you'll see why. What we're going to do, we're going to go back onto my elementalist, which is my main character, really. I use for going around. If there's ever a living story, the first character, sorry, that I'll ever do will be in my elementalist. It is my powerful, and it's my favorite. I enjoy playing elementalist the most, and I generally play staff elementalist. I don't play scepter focus generally, although I do now have, obviously, if you've seen some of my other videos, I've got the Meteorologicus scepter, and I'll probably look at going for a focus, legendary focus, maybe a new one when the Heart of Thorns expansion comes out. As you can see, it takes a long time to load into Lion's Arch. One being like playing on an NA server does have its downsides. So here we go. We're in Lion's Arch, and you can see here we are going to use the Theodosius Razor. And currently I have an exotic dagger and a rare dagger, so I can get rid of that rare dagger and I'll salvage the rare dagger. There we go, and I got 3 globs of Ecto out of it, so pretty handy. But here we go. So what I'm going to do, you'll see me now, I'm on my Bifrost, and what we're going to do, we are going to go dagger. Here we go, and this is my elementalist. So here, well, rather than use that, let's see what it looks like. So there, I think that goes pretty well with my white armor. And that's the reason I've gone for this. I went for it not primarily for the stats, because pretty much a lot of my weapons have already got max stats, but for the fact that it's a nice white dagger and it goes well with my build and goes well with my armor set. So there we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little guide to the elementalist, the elementalist to the ascended weapons. And just be careful when you do go to craft with regards to the recipes, because in the past I have made mistakes crafting ascended weapons by picking the wrong recipe for the wrong weapon, and it's an easy mistake to make. What we're going to talk about a little bit later, we've got the ascended armor. It's very, very similar to how an ascended weapon works, but that'll be in another video, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I hope you've enjoyed this guide to the weapons. I hope that you found it useful, and that it's given you a guide on what materials you're going to need, what materials you should keep in order to obtain an ascended weapon. And remember, these ascended weapons, if we have a look at them, here, the ascended weapon is account bound, so I can, very much like a legendary, I can give that to my thief, I can give that to my necromancer if I want to, and it's one of the handy things about crafting ascended weapons and armor. You can move them around different characters. But anyway, I'm going to put my Bifrost back, and that will be a nice little thing. I might swap that to an ascended dagger and make that an ascended skin as well, because it'd be pretty cool to have both. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and any comments, any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll see you on the next video.